Okay, we're recording. Hi, guys. Welcome to Too Much with Shay.
And Becca.
Are you excited?
Honestly, I am because I just feel like whenever we do projects together, I just feel like it's how our regular FaceTime calls go, where we just be talking and conversing. And if you can't have a friend that's like that, then you need to let your friends go.
Period. So, if you are listening to this, I want to say thank you. We appreciate it. I know personally, I have started and stopped many things in my life. But the important thing is that we get up and we try again. So here I am trying again to be consistent. And I'm super excited for this. We named it Too Much. This is a place for you guys to embrace your extra. Rebecca and I have been called too much a whole lot of times, whether that's personality wise, how we look, how we act, etc. And we think being too much is not shouldn't be
A judgment or like an insult.
an insult. That's the word I was looking for. This is a place to embrace that. Yes, we're too much. And
Exactly.
what about it?
All right. And who gonna check me? Because last time I checked, maybe if you were enough, maybe people will be more interested in you.
We're not trying to put nobody down
I'm
here.
not trying to put nobody down, but at the same time, we need to clock that T because a lot of people love to say, "Oh, you do too much. You're so extra. You're so this." Okay, and you're basic. You're boring, and nobody want to talk to you. So next,
Okay, well, that's Rebecca's part. And yeah, like I said, we're here to embrace our extra. And also, I feel like my brain operates a lot too much. I want to keep up with everything, the news, the politics, the pop culture, the whatever. So news is a lot. Life is a lot, right? Like we're in our 20s. And listen, I thought my 20s were going to be easier. I thought by 27 I was
right?
going to
I
be
thought it was about to
married.
be glitz and glams.
Right. So life is a lot. We've lived through a pandemic, all the things, but
Exactly.
we're going to come here every Friday, talk about life, culture, top news stories. The goal is for us to actually go live so you guys can interact with us. But we're working on it. This is a work in progress, but we appreciate all the support.
Yes, definitely. Support is always important, and Shayla and I, our personalities, it don't make sense, but it does at the same time. Like we're gonna clash, but at the same time, that's my girl. And I ride for her and she
Right.
ride for me.
We're too much in different ways, right? Like Rebecca has
Exactly.
her version of too much, and I am too much in different aspects of life. But it's okay because we all come together
Listen,
and
we work somehow.
exactly. So let's jump into our first topic. If you guys see my little shirt, I'm rocking 96 WNBA
Here
shirts.
we
We're
go.
gonna talk all things Olympics, at least the top highlight moments. Have you been watching the Olympics?
Yes, first off, I want to give a round of applause to my girl Shakari. Okay. You did that, sis.
Is that how you pronounce her name?
Shakari.
I think it's Shakari.
Her mama named her. Go ahead.
Okay.
Congratulations to you,
What?
sis.
I okay.
But no, congratulations to her. A lot of people have their own mixed opinions about my boy Noah. I want the best for him. I'm gonna be real for you. I'm gonna be so real. I'm rooting for everyone black, honestly. So my
Mhm.
boy Kenny, who was running, he fine, baby. If you ever see this, you know, I've been seeing a lot of these other countries. First off, Germany got this fine player. I think he was running in the 100 or the 200. Let me tell you this right now. Two words. Not even two words, two phrases. Guten Tag and Schnitzel. Baby, come here.
Girl, what that mean?
He look you it's because you haven't seen him, baby.
I'm sure
Listen,
I have because I have been watching the Olympics more than you.
girl, I saw him. I said, first off, US got some fine people. But Germany, that mean if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. I'm calling dibs.
Okay, well, clearly Rebecca has been watching the Olympics to
Find my
window
potential
shop,
again.
but like for men or just for looks. I am watching and I am just this is example number one of how we're too much in different ways. I've been watching and I'm just in awe of these athletes. Like I couldn't do half the things that they do. And keep in mind, I've been going to the gym every day. At least I try to, and I'm like here, weightlifting, doing my
And
little
I drive past the gym every day.
Okay, I'm proud of you for doing that, for driving by. Um, anyway, I'm just
Yeah.
so amazed and inspired. Like these people, the Olympics are every 4 years. Like they have to be working and competing in these, I'm
And then you
assuming
have like different trials and stuff like that that's happening. I'm sorry, Shayla. I just had to say that.
okay, you have smaller competitions where probably they don't get, unless you're like a big time athlete like the Noah Lyles, the Simone Biles, like the Shakira Richardsons. You don't get the same clout, right? So you have to be working out and trying to perfect your craft for 4 years, and you will only get like maybe 10 seconds. And if you lose, you lose, and if you win, you win. Like I just think that's mind blowing. There's so many different like happy stories, but also like sad, because imagine every 4 years you only get one try, and if you're
I
lose,
mean,
you're done.
yes, but that at the same time, I feel like if it wasn't every 4 years, it would like lose its like excitement. It would lose its hype, if you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like, you imagine you're a track star, right? And you've
she's
been
a runner, she's
practicing,
a track star. Sorry.
right? You've been practicing every single day for 4 years. And for some odd reason, the one day you're there running a trial run,
Hmm.
that's your worst day ever. And now you're just done.
Sometimes it's really not meant for you too. Because there's a lot of these people, especially because like a lot of times when you're watching the Olympics, the commentators bring up their past, like
Mhm.
failures and successes. And one of the girls who ran in the, was it 200 yesterday? She got disqualified from the Tokyo Olympics, right? For running in the wrong lane. And then this year she won silver. I was like, go ahead, girl. But obviously they was bringing that up. I was like, go ahead. Tokyo wasn't meant for you. Paris was. Go ahead. And
Right.
also, I just want to say, I'm not an America hater, but I'm not an over supporter. But when the Olympics come, baby,
Over supporter is crazy.
girl, do you see these people driving around with their trucks with American flags on it?
I don't know. Over supporter. Over
Listen,
supporter.
some of
Is
these
that a
people
word?
ride a little too hard for America, but that's not here nor
Okay.
there.
The
But
Olympics.
during the Olympics, Shayla, no one is more patriotic than me. I'm red, white, and blue. Okay?
Yeah, I
Except when it
agree.
comes to long distance running, then I'm rooting for Ethiopia. But that's just that.
Girl, you can't be swift. You need to ride for us for everything.
I ride for USA, but long distance is not meant for the USA.
Okay, but there's one man of the USA. He was not. You know how like when the sports start or like the race is about to start, they usually highlight like the top four people that are
Mhm.
supposed to win or whatever.
Right.
And this USA guy, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Too many people. But he was. They didn't even. They said his last name. Like, yep, he run in. But they didn't give his backstory. Like they give the backstory of the stars. And
Mhm.
guess what? He won. Yes, it has been years since like an American had won that, but to
What
your
he win? Silver, gold, bronze,
gold, baby. Actually, I
gold.
don't know what he won. That's a lie. I can't
Okay.
confirm. But he won a medal. If
Listen.
you win a medal, that's another thing. It doesn't matter if it's bronze. You're the top three in the world, like world. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be like they not like us. If you don't got a medal,
Okay, they not like us. They
period.
not like us.
But
Hey.
to that point about being patriotic, I do appreciate that of the Olympics. But I feel like I not only root for the US, I root for Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic because
Well, Haiti ain't never in those things, and when they are,
yes,
they
they
be
are. They have athletes.
girl, and they be losing.
Okay, but you can't only rock with people when
No,
they're
I
winning.
rock
That's
with.
the
Don't get me
problem.
wrong. I root for USA, and I secretly root. Well, not secretly. I also root for Haiti on the background, but I already know the expectation. The day they defeat or go past or surpass my expectations, then we in a different realm. Okay, but until then, because I already know the outcome, I don't even sit here and be like, "Oh my God, Haiti be in there."
Okay, well, this is a message to all you guys. Don't just root for me when I am up and getting the gold medals. I root for Puerto Rico and DR. Even the Puerto Rico, this was the first time, and I forgot how many years that the men's basketball team even made it, qualified to the Olympics, and they was out early.
Girl,
But I'm
that's
so
wait, you
happy
talking
for
about the US?
Puerto Rico.
Oh, I'm about to say.
To your point of like, yeah, they are. I feel like you also cannot compare because the resources that the US athletes
For
get is
sure, for
never the same.
sure.
I'm like, the fact that you even get to this point, I'm already like, yep, that's my people, love them
But it's
down.
like also you gotta take into acknowledgement. This goes back to my point where I say like with long distance running and stuff like that, I'm always rooting for Ethiopia because the terrain is different, the training is different, the like location is different compared to the United States. Unless you decide to run from Los Angeles all the way to Mexico, you're not going very far.
Girl, they're practicing on a track. They're not
Okay, but the terrain is completely
What do you
different.
mean by the terrain?
The
English is
location,
not
the
my first language. You using AP words. The terrain.
I
I'm
need
like,
to
girl,
use
what
the
is
5 cent
the
word.
terrain?
Like the basically the location of where they're running
Why
and
couldn't
the
you just say
crowd
location?
because I said terrain.
People want to show off their language so
It's
much.
not my fault that
Okay,
the Snapple
you're not
facts be
like
coming
us.
through. Okay. But I'm just saying, like the prep and the practice and the preparation is completely different. There's certain things that I'm like, if Haiti was to join, we are not a hurdling country. Why are you jumping over hurdles?
Who's not a hurdler?
Haiti.
Okay, but you practice. No one's born to be a hurdler. I'm
Girl.
sure they can. Whatever. We're gonna get past that. Shout out to the Olympics. I have a whole list of things I could talk about. So I'm just gonna say shout out to Marilady Paulino. She won today gold. She's from Dominican Republic, and she won gold in the 400-meter race. It's fine, you don't know her, but I'm gonna give her a shout out. Shout out to DR. The U.S. women basketball team won today, so they're going to the gold medal match, and they have had 59 straight wins. Okay. One thing about it is the U.S. women are carrying the medal in swimming. The white girls carrying a shout out to Katie Ledecky.
First
Ledecky.
off, nah, I know a swimming pool hate to see her coming. Okay.
Okay. Leslie Jones loves her down. If you're not following her for her
Yo.
commentary, she is hilarious. Shout out to Katie Ledecky and all the other
Shout
swimmers.
out to Snoop Dogg too, because he's been at everything. Sitting
Yes,
with
the
all the
Flavor Flav
Flavor,
has been.
yo,
Go ahead.
he been outside with it. I'm
Yeah,
like, every
yeah.
time I see him scream and the way he's cheering and screaming, I'm like, yo, he is into it and I love
He's
it.
a sponsor for the water polo team, and he's doing so many amazing things. And like to see what I know him for the Flavor Flav and dating, like he walked so the little dating shows now could run. So shout out to Flavor Flav,
Nah,
Shakari
New York is
Richardson.
the reason why the reality dating TV is why,
Right, but
they walk.
if he would have never started it, then
You
anyway.
got that plan. I'll let you have that. That's true.
Thank you. Shout out to Shakari Richardson. We love her nail game. Show your nails off, Rebecca. Rebecca,
Listen.
she is with you and your nails. She finally got her gold. They won in the relay race today. I'm not there's
The
so many
four by the 4x. I think it's 4x4.
I don't
Four
know.
man.
We're not track stars, but we appreciate you and we're happy for you. All listen, they're amazing. The US rugby team, I never in my life knew about rugby, but that sport is crazy rough.
Sheila, to that point, the Olympics has opened my eyes to a bunch of different sports I never knew even existed.
Right.
Like I was watching a handball game the other day. I'm like,
What even is shout out.
there's a break. Did you know there's a breakdancing?
This is the
Olympics?
first year that they're doing that, but no shade, no tea. I saw someone tweet this out. They were like, I see better people in
Yo, okay.
subway.
I thought I was a hater if I said that because I was looking up like they moving kind of slow.
It was just not really like what I know breakdance to be is like street style, like you know what I'm saying. And
Exactly.
I'm like, how you? But let me not be a hater because there's at the end
I
of the
mean,
day,
it's not hating if it's the truth. Like sometimes, like I was
well,
watching,
maybe
I'm
we
like,
don't know. Maybe we don't know enough about breakdance.
I've
And
seen
that's
better
how
stuff in the subway. Like,
But listen, you guys are Olympians. Do your thing. We wish you all the best. Tara and Hunter, you love a good
girl, you know, I used to follow them all the time on TikTok, especially
I
when
love
they
them
were just
down.
dating. And like to see, I was watching this one video, like they did, like they were just showing his like reaction, and he was crying before she even started jumping. I was like,
I'm a sucker for a good love story.
you know,
And
I am.
Listen, one thing about me, I'm a cry. So I do truly hope that yes, although like the Olympics are coming to an end, the Paralympics are about to begin. So all this love
Oh
that
my
you are
God,
giving
bruh.
to
Can
the
I just give a little side story? One day, Shayla was just posting on her Instagram of like the Paralympics and stuff like that. And so I'm like, let me call her because I don't think she okay. Like, like
I was crying because I was just so proud of
and
them. It
Shayla
was
was
like,
like, I've cried like 8 times today, and I'm busting out laughing. Girl, she was like,
we're
look,
just
this
different.
one girl's about to go in the pool and she's blind. And I'm like,
Yeah. Because it's like, do you understand? I'm pretty sure those people were told you could never do this ever in your life.
I'm
And
sure
they
they have.
exactly like not only the physical like capability, like it's hard to do that physically. Me as like, having all my arms and legs, whatever,
As
I
an
can't even
able
do that.
body.
Exactly. So the fact that they're doing that, shout out to them. And I will be tuned into the Paralympics. But anyways, let's move on to another topic. Shout out to the Olympics. Love y'all
Shout out
down.
to y'all, USA. You doing your big one. Keep getting that gold. I'll take a silver. Keep that bronze where it's at.
No, I take bronze. Shout out to the women, the US women carrying us, because they really truly are. I know the Olympic other countries are tired of hearing our anthem. They're like, girl, they replay that like every sport all the time. They
Yo.
hate. But again, shout out to USA,
I also
Puerto
want to just
Rico.
say shout out to the US basketball team, my men. Stefan, baby, if you see this.
Period.
All
You had
love
a
it.
close one with Serbia. You had a close one.
Girl, stressed.
Shout
Stressed.
out to the women. I love y'all down.
Yes, but we also gotta acknowledge them all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Love
while I'm window shopping, I see a lot of material.
Okay, go. I'm happy for you. So before we go on to this next topic, I do want to say this. I don't know if you saw this. Adele and Rich Paul are in fact engaged.
Okay, go ahead.
So
And
shout
they're both big ballers. Okay.
okay, Adele, she went through her divorce. She had a child with her ex, and now,
I
she's
just
giving love a second chance, and I love that for her.
I also just want to say this like quick sidebar. I just love when I see like people go through like because you've heard the albums, you've heard her songs, like you've heard it all. So it's just like she went through her own situation. I mean, we weren't there, we weren't in the house, we weren't in that relationship to know everything that happened, but clearly stuff happened. So it's
Right.
like it's good to see that some people can move on because there's some people who would have never went back into another relationship who would
Yeah.
have just sat there and been miserable, but she opened herself back up to love, and I'm glad. Hopefully that next album eat.
Listen, I've always said this. I would love to see her live because her vocals are just
We'll do it. You know
amazing.
what, Shayla, I'm gonna do it just because you said it. I'm gonna find us tickets and we gonna go, my love.
I tried. They're all booked and busy. She has a Vegas residency and all the things, but her vocals, I've cried to her music. Like her music is the type that like even if you don't have a love life, you listen to this and like you just feel like, wow, she did that. Water under a
Yeah,
bridge.
big one.
Yeah. So shout out to Adele.
And you know what's crazy? Maybe I should like take this into consideration. He
Mhm.
is shorter than her.
But see, that's the problem with us women. We are just worried about the
I
wrong
just
thing.
think that it's like real cute. Like it shows, like, some people would have been stuck up.
Zendaya and her man, that's
Listen, this goes to my point that some of us need to, and I'm talking about me specifically, need to
right.
get over the idea. But I don't know.
Okay,
Congrats to
well,
them, though.
yes, that wasn't a part of our rundown, but I just saw that and I was like, shout out to them. We love.
We do. I'm a Hallmark fanatic. Hallmark, if you ever see this, cast me in a movie. I don't even need to be like the main person. Just put me like I could be the person pouring coffee in the back.
Okay, you heard it here first. So now let's move on to a little bit of a serious topic. So Kai Cenat, if you don't know who Kai Cenat is, he's like a very well-known Twitch streamer. And he recently went on a stream and he was kind of going off saying that the Harris campaign was trying to get a hold of him. Well, let's listen to him say it. How about that?
Then on top of that, I got the fucking Secret Service calling me 5 times, nigga! I don't know goddamn
his
that.
reaction would be the same reaction as me. Like, I would be stressed because I know me. Like, I could talk and I could hold my own for a little bit when it comes to politics, but I'm a firm believer in if you don't know much about something, don't speak on it too much. And I feel like I wouldn't even know what to ask. Like, we would end up asking stupid questions like, oh my God, like, where was your first kiss?
Okay, so I have a lot of feelings about this. First of all, before we even continue about this, because I'm a big person of like, I never want to even spread fake news. The Harris campaign has completely denied that. They're like, we've never reached out to him. We don't, I mean, they didn't say we don't know what he's talking about, but essentially they've said that they have never reached out to Kai Cenat for any sort of collaboration. So. Mm-hmm. We get that. I don't know what happened.
And I just also want to say a quick note that this, like, I'm not saying they're related, but Trump just went on another Twitch streamers live and like they did a whole thing for him. It was, you know.
Right. So this is on the heels of like the day after, I believe, or it was like in close proximity. This other streamer did a whole live with former President Trump. And then I believe this came out of Kai Cenat saying that the Harris campaign was reaching out to him. And he was like, well, you guys heard it there. My
feeling, was about to break that table.
Well, that's just who he is. That's like his vibe. He always being extra. Yeah. That's why people, you know,
he's too much, and I love it.
Exactly. He should come on our show.
Okay, Kai, if you ever see this, pull up.
So my thing with this is my mom always drills this on me, especially now. She's always like, Shayla, don't get involved with politics because at the end of the day, politicians are going to be politicians and you're the one that's going to suffer. Mm-hmm. Right. And I'll be honest, like my first time voting was in college. Like I never voted until college. And it was just maybe because I was just more educated on it. And it was more like of a push. And when you are from like an urban area, all you focus on is getting your money, going to like you're focused on surviving. Mm-hmm. Politics doesn't seem like a necessity, a priority. But the older I get, I'm like, even if you don't want to engage with politics, politics is going to engage with you, right? Like your checks,
repeat that. Taxes. Say that one more time.
Even if you don't want to engage with politics, politics will engage with you. So it's like you can literally ask a politician anything, right? Like if there is something that bothers you, a future president should be able to answer those questions, right? Like I think Kai right now is like doing streams from like a U-Haul truck. Maybe that's just a bit.
That's because they just moved to New York. Just moved the AMP house to New York, which I don't know why, but anyway.
But anyways, I just think a lot of us, especially people my age, they always think like, oh, I don't know about politics. But you don't need to
shade at me, guys. She's throwing shade at me.
No, I know a lot of people that just don't care about politics. And I think I understand it because that was me. But B is like, then by the time you care, it may be too late, right? Like there's currently some states, however you feel about abortions or like education rights, housing, all those things are politics and they directly affect you. I remember years ago, I didn't have health insurance. So then I had to like pay extra taxes because I didn't have health insurance. So at the time I wasn't tapped into politics, but politics was politicking me. You know what I'm saying?
Politics was tapped into you, baby.
Like I still had to pay them low taxes because they were like, well, you weren't insured, so you need to give us money. So as someone that does feel that way, like, oh, I can't speak on things that I don't know about. Do you just feel like a lot of politicians or people that do know politics kind of like look down on people if they do get things wrong when it comes to politics, and that kind of like discourages you from even wanting to talk about it?
I think a lot of times what it is that some people like to speak on things that they don't know about, like I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. But the downside to that is because they know they don't know nothing about it, they just go and run with that whatever storyline's going through their head. So instead of reading articles, looking into the facts, and actually creating a concise opinion with the facts, they just run with what they think. And I think that's why I was saying, like with Kai, like that whole, like his whole reaction kind of makes sense to me, because if somebody told me I had to interview any president, because I will be the first to tell you, politics is not the realm that I like to talk about. I don't know. I know enough to make decisions, but I'm not into it that much to sit there and say I can have a concise and in-depth conversation about it.
Mm.
I'm, I'm saying that while we're having an in-depth conversation about it, but whatever.
But you're also talking as friends. We're not really
Yeah,
sitting in the Congress and
exactly. So like my thing is like I feel like his reaction, I mean, they're saying they denied reaching out to him, but let's say it does come out that somebody ended up reaching out to him.
Mhm.
That is like that's a good thing to consider. Like, I don't know what to talk to you about. Like, I get it, you might be trying to appeal to the younger voters and younger people who watch his stuff because he is
Yeah.
like he was streamer of the year and stuff. So
Mhm.
like he comes with a very large fan base, which is important, but at the same time you got to take into consideration who you're going to be speaking with, what kind of questions are going to be asked, because we have this conversation all the time where we're like, there's people who went to school for media for years. And then there's somebody on YouTube or TikTok or something who just happens to have a large following that that end up putting on a red carpet. And it's like, they don't, and then they're asking stupid questions and they're like, who put them on there? Well, you went for the person who doesn't have that credibility, the
Yeah.
person who is not trained or has that mindset or knows exactly what to do within that space. You just chose somebody based off of following, fan base, because you want to appeal and get more viewers. But then you also got those people who actually like things of substance, and it's like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I completely get you, and I think I just don't like the idea of people saying, "Oh, I don't care about politics," because it's okay for you not to care, but things will affect you. And I worry, especially like our generation, like we're supposed to be the future, and I
Yeah,
see way too many young people
exactly.
that just don't care. So I'm like, if no one cares, then there's a whole lot of group of people that do care, and they do always go out and vote, and they're the first ones to, and if that group of people doesn't believe in the same things that you believe, you're going to be impacted, right? Like, thankfully we live in, like, I feel like Jersey is a blue state, right? Like, we're not a very, tight rules, whatever. I mean, maybe we are, I don't know, but
Bro, we got a lot of tight rules, but in terms of like decision making, we have some type of leniency.
yeah, like there's currently some states that like have abortion bans, and just like, I don't know, I'm not trying to live in a state where you could just carry a gun everywhere. I'm so sorry. If that's what you want,
I feel
great, but I
And I
don't
feel
want
like
that
a lot of
conversation.
times, I feel like a lot of times people don't actually like. That's why I think also is my problem with politics is that people who try to frame it as if this is better for the whole world and all of society, and it's mainly just their personal opinions and the personal things, how they feel about it, instead of looking at the grander scheme of things. Like when people are like, oh, like whatever religion you choose to be, whatever choices you decide to make, whatever morals you feel fit you, are what you feel fit you. It's what you feel like you makes you feel comfortable as who you are.
Yeah.
But to say now, feel like you mentioned earlier, feel how you want about abortion and all that other stuff. But it's like, because you feel like, some people say, oh, you're killing an actual human. Some people say God wouldn't want this. You're taking your personal feelings on something and trying to make a decision for the whole. Let people make their own choices. People are going to do what they want to do one day. Just because you made the rule or say that you can't do it, it's illegal to kill people in certain circumstances, unless you're on war and stuff like that. But for the grand conversation in America, in the streets, if you're walking, you can't just shoot somebody in the head. You will go to jail.
Yeah.
That's just that. But does that stop people from doing it? No.
I mean, I just think as a whole, America is known to be a very selfish country. Like,
Exactly.
even culturally wise, like, when I go to DR, which I was born in Puerto Rico, but like, most of my family is Dominican, and I was born or raised in like the Dominican culture. It's way more like people oriented. Like, oh, if you need something, I'm there for you. Like, oh, stay with your mom, your uncle. Like, I just think like Americans, even though I am American, but the culture is different. Like, usually our Caribbean islands are more family, and like, I help you, you help me, da da da. Here is like whatever is best for me, and like, it's a
And it's
grind
just,
every day.
I feel like also we're like all tricked into like this mind of like, let's figure out how we can control everybody. And it's like, this brings me back to like our abortion conversation. Like, to make choices and say that it's illegal for you, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situation, regardless of how much money you have in your bank account, regardless of your own living situation, and that you may be out in the street and you can't afford to provide for this child, you are still required to have that child. A lot of the people who made those decisions, I bet you feel bad because you know your mama wanted to abort you. But that's just another topic for another day. Just
So we're gonna move on, but I just want to end it on, a lot of times the same people that say they are against abortion or like they want to take away your rights, when there are mass shootings and the person happens to be white, it's mental issue. If the person is a person of color, mental issue is down out the door. People
it's just
say,
their
oh,
nature. It's who they
yeah.
are.
People say they are against abortion, but if the child turns out to be gay or transgender or anything like that, they're like, they make their life a living hell. So it's like, you can't pick and choose when you're pro-family and when you're not. These same people, want to get rid of food stamps or just services that actually help the pro-family values that you claim to be for. But it is election year, and Rebecca saw this very beautiful graphic that I was proud of.
Because while Shayla brings that up, let me just be the first to say, I feel like over the years, like the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen a push for more Black voters, for Black voters to use their words and to show that, that their vote matters, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so this post basically said, like, the first slide, we're not going to show you. It's a different word to this word, but it basically says things you Negroes need to know. And I found it funny because it's, funny, but also true at the same time, because it's like a lot of y'all really got this mindset. Like the first one said, Trump did not give you $1,200. He didn't.
Next, what's the second one?
Kamala Harris is in fact Black. Your vote does matter. Kamala Harris did not lock up thousands of Black people. Well, Black men.
Black men. The fifth?
Agenda 47 is not for your Black behind. Okay.
Hello.
So Shayla, when I sent you this whole slide, what was your thoughts? What was your opinions? What was everything that you said and thought?
Well, I was like, yes. Like, I think the thing that stresses me out is that people fall for fake news so easily. Like, they read a headline and they just run with it. The first post that said, like, Trump didn't give you $1,200. I think sometimes people think that, like, when you're president, you do everything or you're in charge of everything. But a lot of legislation actually first has to pass through Congress, the House and the Senate, which is made up of Republican and Democrats, and then it gets signed by the president. And during these, what people was calling stimmies or stimulus check or all the things, a lot of Republicans actually didn't want to pass this legislation in Congress because they were saying, well, because we're giving these people money, they're not trying to go back to work. But guess what? Then after Democrats fought and kept fighting to get it passed, Donald Trump was very adamant that he wanted his name on these checks, because one thing Trump is very good at, he's funny. He seemed like he's all jokes, but
it's a manipulative
reality star. Exactly. Like, he seems like a very charismatic type of person, but that's what makes him so dangerous, right? Because sometimes I watch his rallies and I laugh because I'm like, it feels like a joke. It truly, truly does, but it's real life.
And I want to touch back onto that. How everybody, is he like when we were talking about Biden versus Trump, everybody's like, well, if Biden give me a stimmy, do y'all understand what the point of a stimmy is? It's a part of a stimulus package used to stimulate the economy, because at the time during the pandemic, no one was working, money was not going anywhere, and the economy was basically about to crash. So the stimmy that y'all were I got this free $1,200 that y'all used to spend was to help stimulate the economy, to bring it back into the circle of life that we love to say we enjoy.
Yeah, the circle of life. So anyways, I feel like we've been talking about politics for way too long. But again, it's presidential election. And not only are you voting for presidents, you're voting for, again, these senators and Congress people and people that, run your
At
city.
Superior Court, those people, yeah, with that one black man who basically he can go somewhere if not kicking a boot. But these are the type of people that those people put into these places where decisions like we were
Well,
talking about.
Trump actually elected a lot of the Supreme Court justices. They're the
Oh,
ones that are in charge of designating them.
girl.
But anyways, we're done with politics. Thank you.
But I just wanted to say real quick that debate has been set, y'all.
Yeah. Harris and
Trump.
President Trump, VP
Because
Harris and Trump will be debating. That will be
on
definitely
September 10th. So make sure you watch it. It's going to be on ABC. I can't wait to see how this goes because it's going to be facts versus foolery. Like, which F going to win?
Well, there are people that think that everything that Trump says is fact. So now we have alternate facts, which is another thing. But let's end on a lighter note. Rebecca has some things to make us,
Yes. So, I'm the lighthearted person. So let's get into this, guys. So I have two questions that I think would help people get to know us a little bit better and get a better idea of us as a whole. So the first question is, what is something that you do that others complain about, but you do not care to change? But before we answer, I want to do a little twist before we give our answers about ourselves.
Okay.
I want to hear I want us to tell each other what we've heard others complain about us that we clearly have not changed.
Yeah. Well, do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. So I wouldn't even say other people. I would say like that I see it. You be thinking that everything is a joke. And I be like so serious. And Rebecca just wants to make a joke out of everything. Like Rebecca's the friend that she just is lighthearted of everything. Like everything is funny. Everything is like I be like, I'm so serious, Rebecca.
Now I just think that sometimes things need to be funny sometimes. Like you gotta make a joke. But it's like my problem is this is really what my problem is.
Okay.
Is that I could just be chilling there and my brain will turn something into a joke. Like, quick little example before I give Shayla's. So one day, me and Shayla both work in news. So, we be on point with our stuff. So we were in one of our like little news meetings talking about possible stories from our reporters. And one of the stories was about how one of their family members passed away and they got them cremated. So the person was about to bring the cremations and deliver them to the family. Okay. Well, they left their keys in the car and someone stole the car with the cremations in it. So we were going to do a story about it. And so everybody's like, oh my God, da, da, da. And the first thing that came to my head, and sometimes my mouth be moving before my head tells me to stop. All you hear me say is, Dad, they lost their family member twice. Bruh.
See, that is not a joke. Like, that is actually very sad because it's like, maybe I'm pathetic, but I'm like, God forbid that happened to me. Like, I would be very upset. And I'm like,
I know I would be upset too, but it's just the way I'm wired. Like that just boom.
Okay, so that just answers that. That's something that you're not going to change because you just, like you said, you're wired like that. So now you answer for me.
So something that, I've heard and I've seen how people are, especially when it comes to telling Shayla certain things. People think that Shayla is judgmental. Listen, that's what the streets are saying.
Girl, that's not true. Give me an example of when I have been judgmental. Because before you continue, I think it's more so I'm blunt, I'm honest. And if, for example, we go somewhere to eat that everyone hypes up and I think it's nasty, I'm going to be like, this is nasty. Like, if you handle work that I don't think is good, I'm going to be like, oh, I think we should change it. Like,
listen, I want to be the first to say, let me clear my name. Personally, Shayla and I are similar in this fact. Her and I are going to tell you like it is. We're going to tell you when you're wrong. We're going to tell you when you're right. And we're going to tell you when a situation does not make sense. Shayla does that for me. I do that to her. And I just think that when it comes to
an example of the streets, of what the streets have said or mentioned, oh girl, she just mentioned.
It's been times where certain friends that we share were like, but I don't want to tell Shayla yet because you know how she is.
But that's the story of my life because I'm honest. Right. Like, don't tell me anything. And maybe it's just the way I was raised. My mom is very blunt and I'm the same way. Like, my mom never sugarcoated anything. And maybe there was times that she should have, but she never did.
But
So
I think
I'm
that
like you.
also, I think that goes to how we were raised because that's me too. Like, I don't know how to sugarcoat things. Like, my favorite phrase to say is just rip it off like a band-aid because you could always put another one on later. Because, like, it's true. Just tell people what it is. Like, nobody's going to want to, if you always want to hear something good and never hear anything bad, you're not the person that needs to be around me.
But
Or,
I will say, I think I'm nicer than you though. Like you would be meaner in saying things, and I think I'm a great people manager. Like I know how to like manage, and like certain people do need things to be said differently. But whatever, it is what it is.
I think you are a great people manager, and I think I'm a good enforcer.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I'm the type of person, like, the answer is no. So what are we talking about right now? And Shayla's like, no, but if you have any other suggestions, they might not be taken, but we can listen to it, you know? And I'm like, I don't really want to hear anything else you have to say, to be honest.
Okay, well, I think this is great. I hope you guys enjoyed our first
Oh,
episode.
we still got another question.
Oh,
And
okay.
you
What's
still
the
have to
last
say
question? We have 4 minutes to go, so we gotta be
bag. Okay, so this kind of bring this back.
okay.
If you could be president for a day, what
Mhm.
is one of the first things you would do?
Whew, well, keep in mind this is gonna be stuck to just the United States. Nothing that is other
And
countries.
also remember, y'all, this is hypothetical. We're hypothetically speaking. Like,
We know things can't happen in a day, but this is just hypothetical for funsies. We wish we could cure all the wars in the world, but this is just let's.
I don't think that, but go ahead.
Okay, well, that's you. That what I said was me. Okay, so I would say affordable housing. I would give affordable housing has to give. I'm very big on like I want my house with a underground pool. Many people don't believe that I would ever reach that dream, but I believe I will be
Tell
able to.
them that whoever doesn't believe in your dreams, tell them that they mama said they was
I'm
a
a
mistake.
strong woman, and I will afford my house with.
Wow, we went two different directions.
And then also affordable childcare. Because listen, I want to have kids, and the way childcare is set up right now, people cannot live off of one like affordable healthcare. The kids need to be able to, well, the parents need to be able to have free childcare. That's my two things.
Okay. So I think if it was me, now it depends on how I'm feeling, but I would want to do all student loans done. Done, disappear, gone. But if I'm feeling real sweet, real nice, all debt, gone. Wow.
All debt.
All debt.
I like that. I'm not a debt girly, but I see I take one for the team. Just because it doesn't directly impact me doesn't mean that I don't want it for others. And I think a lot of y'all need to understand that. Just because something doesn't directly affect you doesn't mean it's not necessary. Like there's so many people that are like, oh well, I'm good. Okay, well, you're not everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like when it, especially like, listen, I'm a food stamps baby, and I'll say that loud and proud. And because of food stamps, you know, I ate good. I'm here. But there are a lot of people that hate these social services because they're like, oh, I'm here, you know, struggling, and these people are. Don't get me wrong. I feel like with everything, yes, people do take advantage, right? There are people that really don't need it, and
Not
they take
because
advantage. But
Shayla,
that's life.
to that point, because there's a lot of people who are on unemployment living better than me. I'm going to my little 9 to 5 every single day, and I barely can take a vacation. And some of these people on unemployment, I don't know what y'all doing, but go ahead, have fun, live it up in Puerto Rico, Jamaica. Y'all live in
But
life.
that's not everybody. Like the
I'm
thing is
saying,
people use small instances to generalize for everybody. Like not everybody is the same, and that's just
true.
that on that.
But some of these people on unemployment be living lavish.
Okay, baby, that was during the COVID era. We have moved past that. Okay, maybe there is now. We love that. We are. Thank you guys so much listening to For Real episode 1 of Too Much. We really appreciate it. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, comment down below your thoughts. What would you do if you were president for a day? Your favorite part of the Olympics, Make sure
And
you follow
what are
us.
some things about you that others complain about that you won't change? And please follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And we'll make sure we'll put it across. No, we won't put it across the screen. It
No,
is too much SB.
there you go.
Okay. And that too much SB is too much with
Sheila and Becca.
ah,
Okay. I'm like, I don't know what the punchline is. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
bye.
Next Friday. Bye. Ooh.
Girl.
End recording. Let's see.